Everything is so expensive in Canada.
The truth is, Canadian salaries have not kept up with inflation.
I just came to this country to work and pay bills.
Living in Canada is literally insane.
Is it normal to do 2 to 3 jobs in Canada?
Break the cost down of what my boyfriend and I pay to live in Vancouver, and this is literally the basics.
Do you think that $100K as a salary is enough to live in Canada?
Tell me why Canada is such a fucking joke right now that no one can afford to live.
Rent in Calgary costs over double what minimum wage earners can afford.
Let's talk about how surviving on unemployment in Toronto right now is literally impossible.
Are you serious? 174, that's high blood pressure.
I have considered food bank for the first time in my life.
$43 for some paper thin steaks? I'm sorry, if you guys are paying this, you gotta see a psychiatrist at that point.
The average Canadian family now pays over 42% of their income to taxes.
And for the longest time, I was just exhausted. I was working 2 jobs trying to keep up with everything.
Welcome to Canadian Rant, a channel where we speak the truth. The truth most media won't say out loud. Today, we're talking about what feels like the collapse of everyday life in Canada. Prices keep rising, but paychecks don't. Groceries, gas, rent, insurance, everything is higher. People are working 2, even 3 jobs just to stay afloat. Seniors who worked their entire lives are lining up at food banks. Young people are giving up on owning a home. And families are breaking under the weight of endless bills and stress. You can't go a day without hearing someone say, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." The question is no longer, when will things get better? It's how are we even supposed to survive? So today, we're exposing the truth. Canada is at its breaking point. And before we continue, if you believe these stories deserve to be heard, subscribe and join this community. Because what's happening to everyday Canadians cannot stay hidden any longer.
Rent in Calgary costs over double what minimum wage earners can afford. In Calgary, the average rent for a 1-bedroom apartment currently sits at $1,675, while the minimum wage remains the lowest in the country at $15 an hour. To meet the 32% rule in Calgary, which is a rule that suggests that no more than 32% of an individual's income should go towards housing, the minimum wage would need to be increased to around $32.21, which is more than double the current rate.
This is ridiculous. I'm at the gas station and the price just jumped up to $174. Are you serious? $174, that's high blood pressure. That's not gas prices. Is this the carbon tax? Is this why we're paying $174? Is that how it works? That these companies get taxed more and they just pass off the cost to us? And now we're paying? How about a price tax? I don't care about carbon. How about you tax these companies so they don't charge me $7.85 for a block of butter now? This is crazy. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna ride a bike.
$43 for some paper thin steaks? I'm sorry, if you guys are paying this, you gotta see a psychiatrist at that point.
You can buy 1 bulb of garlic for 50 cents at home. $4 for 2. $7 for a head of cauliflower, a single head, and half of these are moldy. Cinnamon spiced honey, $18 a jar. 2 for $17. Sparkling water, 2 for $17. Sparkling water. One isn't a price thing, it's just look at what French people call goldfish.
Crystal Leon.
Just get myself the tiniest goddamn bundle of, for $30, dried flowers for $30.
I have considered food bank for the first time in my life.
They're definitely more expensive.
Salary's not increasing, but the prices are.
Trying to keep it on budget.
Are there any items that you guys don't buy anymore because it's too expensive?
We just try not to buy as much meats. I stopped buying a lot of fruits, like strawberries and raspberries and blueberries. Unfortunately, they're so expensive.
I have health issues that I need to think about. Avocados, they're in my diet, and those are the things that I'm skimping on. I look at that as a compromise to my health, not just cheaper eating.
It's not a case of stopping buying anything, it's a case of looking to find it cheaper somewhere else.
The truth is, Canadian salaries have not kept up with inflation, despite what the government says, despite the fact that I think statistically they say it's 1.72%. That's where our inflation sits at. Honestly, I was at Safeway today. I go to look at the juice cooler. I don't normally buy juice, so I actually don't know how expensive juices have gotten. But I looked. The Tropicana was $13.99. So almost $14 for a 2-liter jug of juice. So if you earn minimum wage in Canada, you're making roughly $17, $18 an hour. It is just crazy. And of course, yes, you can shop somewhere else. You can go to Walmart. You can consider other stores, other options, and not shop at Safeway. But that's not the point. Canada has just gotten so expensive that salaries have certainly not kept up with it. I can honestly say that I don't think Canada is okay. Not from my perspective. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
The average Canadian family now pays over 42% of their income to taxes. The Fraser Institute just came out with their annual study, Taxes and the Necessities of Life. And while I don't think this is going to be a surprise to anyone, it's interesting to see the data for sure. What this study does is adds up all the various levels of tax. So income tax, payroll tax, health tax, sales tax, property tax, fuel, carbon, vehicle, import, alcohol. The list goes on. You can see them all listed here. And then compares these taxes against the cost of necessities like clothing, food, and shelter. Overall, what the study says is that taxes have become the single most significant item in a family's budget, and that taxes have grown more rapidly than any other single item over the same period of time. They started tracking this in 1961, and to give you an idea, the average family spent 56% of its cash income to pay for shelter, food, and clothing in that year. And only 33% of their income went to the government as tax. 81 was the first year that we started spending more of our income on tax than on necessities, and this happened again in 92. And then ever since then, we've been paying more in tax than we have in necessities. So this isn't really anything new, but I think the most alarming part of this is we can see how tax continues to pull away far above any of these other necessities. This is adjusted for inflation. This means our spending on tax is just astronomical. And then in the commentary to this study, they reference another study that talks about how 2/3 of Canadians consider the amount of tax that they pay unacceptable. And that most, 55% of Canadians are dissatisfied with the Canadian government's accountability and transparency in spending. So overall, most Canadians are spending more on tax than they are on food, shelter, clothing combined, but they don't feel like they're getting any value for their tax dollars. Let me know what you think.
As many of you guys already know, I'm very well off, but I gotta tell you, things are so expensive right now. I don't know what the hell happened and how it happened so fast. And here's a perfect example. Here's my natural gas bill, right? There's a customer charge, there's the delivery fee, there's the carbon tax, then there's the gas supply charge. So that's how much I actually used. I used $97. The carbon tax is literally 100%. It just doubled my bill. Well, effectively, it doubled my usage. The insurance on my wife's BMW is just as much as it is on my Ferrari. That's how crazy things have gotten. And I gotta be honest, it's not even it's a luxurious BMW. And I know that might sound contradictory. It's a 3 Series. It's a nice car, but it's just so much. My property tax bill came in for the house. I think it was $16,000. I think the insurance for my house was $3,000 or $4,000. I think all my cars combined, maybe it was $12,000, $14,000 for the year. I can't remember. I have to prepay my taxes every single year. The government wants their pound of flesh before I make my money. I won't even tell you how much that is. And then groceries, we literally spend about $4,000 a month. We have 3 boys. I mean, I'm a pretty decent sized guy. I eat a lot. I eat about 4,000 calories a day. So the amount of food we consume is quite a lot. And I know I shouldn't be complaining. And I know you're probably offended by the fact that I'm complaining, but how do you people do it? How do people survive? I don't understand. And if you're single and you're surviving out on your own, honestly, man, my deepest respect for you. It's crazy out there.
I'm a mom, a wife, and I live here in Ontario, Canada. And for the longest time, I was just exhausted. I was working 2 jobs trying to keep up with everything. And honestly, I felt like I was drowning. I'd come home wiped out, no energy left for my kids. I had no patience, just completely burnt out. And the worst part, even with all that effort, it still felt like we were barely scraping by. I remember thinking, is this what it's gonna be like for the next 10 to 20 years of my life? Just work, stress, and repeat. That thought alone made me sick to my stomach. But then I found something different, something that actually works for a busy mom like me. It wasn't another job that stole my time. It was something I could do right from my phone whenever I had spare moments.
67% of Canadians can't comfortably afford housing costs above $17.49 per month. Meanwhile, the CMHC has reported the average monthly mortgage payment is $1,829, not far away from that. So in the survey, 38% said $1,000 is their maximum or less. Again, 67% can't handle anything above that $1,750 per month, and 42% of respondents earning over $100K a year said they couldn't comfortably pay more than $1,749 a month. And about 56% of the people that were in the survey made over $60,000 or more a year. You can see their incomes right here. Also, 71% of the people hold a college diploma or university degree. And this shows that even people that go to college or university are still struggling to pay these high rent or mortgage costs. And see, the problem is when mortgage payments or rent payments get too high, it forces you to cut back on savings, retirement contributions, and you're more reliant on things like your credit card, which we're seeing. We're seeing credit card debt going up and up and up now. Here are some comments from some of the people. Canada girl, you in trouble. We're effed. Tent cities are only going to get bigger. And when you really think about it, there's only so much a person can pay towards housing until it just becomes so unbearable and so impossible that it's just they're not able to continue.
Is it normal to do 2 to 3 jobs in Canada? Well, according to Statistics Canada, multiple job holding is a common practice in Canada. In 2020, around 5.8% of employed individuals held more than one job, which translates to approximately 1.2 million of people living in Canada. The reasons for holding multiple jobs can vary, including financial necessity, career advancement, and perhaps personal fulfillment. In some cases, individuals may work part-time in addition to a full-time job to supplement their income. In other cases, individuals may take on multiple jobs to gain new skills or explore different industries. However, it is worth noting that holding multiple jobs can also have negative impacts on work-life balance and overall well-being. It can be challenging to manage multiple schedules and responsibilities, leading to stress and burnout. Overall, while holding 2 to 3 jobs in Canada is not uncommon, it is important to carefully consider the potential benefits and drawbacks before taking on additional employment.
Okay, in this video, I'm going to break the cost down of what my boyfriend and I pay to live in Vancouver, and this is literally the basics. So our biggest bill is, of course, rent. We live in a one bedroom plus den apartment just outside of downtown Vancouver, and we pay $2,500 per month for rent, and that also includes our water. Our next biggest bill is food. Food is expensive in Vancouver, and we probably spend anywhere between $150 to $180 on food per week. So yeah, that's like $600 to $720 per month on food. That also usually includes any like household items we need, like toilet roll, kitchen roll, washing up liquid, soap, like that kind of thing. We then spend $80 a month on internet, and we honestly thought this was so cheap. Like compared to what we'd pay for internet in England, we were really surprised by how cheap internet was out in Vancouver. Our electricity bill usually costs us around $40 per month, and I know anyone watching this who lives in England is going to be like, holy shit, how is your electricity so cheap? Because electricity in the UK right now is sky high. But yeah, that is one really good thing about Vancouver. Electricity is so cheap. We both then, of course, have a phone plan, and we both pay around $70 per month for that. So that's around $140 per month for both of us for our phone plan. So in total, for those very basic bills, we are paying $3,480 per month, and we split that between the both of us. So that's like $1,740 each.
Do you think that $100K as a salary is enough to live in Canada? No. Vancouver for sure, $250 if you want to live comfortably.
Yes, I think so. I think it is. Yeah, that's about what I make, and I can afford to live in Canada. Yeah.
I don't think so, especially Vancouver, no. Considering rent and prices of everything, $100K can be a little tight.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's tough for $100K for sure.
I think it should be, like, to live a comfortable life and pay your bills. If $100K isn't enough to, like, feel comfortable, then is Canada actually affordable too?
No one. Obviously, in the last couple of years, it's gotten more expensive. Like, you're getting groceries, rent skyrocketed too. I don't think it's very affordable.
Definitely not for us just starting out working.
Probably the older generation, yeah.
Rich people, not the working class or the middle class.
Being, a younger generation, it feels unfortunate because we work so hard, and 100K is a lot of money. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a lot of money, but it doesn't go very far nowadays.
Well, I think outside of the big cities, there's still a lot of very affordable places to live.
Canada or Vancouver, because 100K will get you quite far in Canada, but not in Vancouver. It's a tough place to live, but it's very pretty.
Tell me why Canada is such a fucking joke right now that no one can afford to live, and I'm pretty sure the plan here is to, see how many people they can literally just drive into poverty. And, if you think about it, if there's no product to buy and there's no service being advertised, we are the product, 100% this is their game plan. We're huge fucking lab rats in some experiment to see how far we can be driven into the fucking core of the earth before no one can afford to live anymore. And it's literally so sickening because Canada used to be one of those places that was, somewhere people dreamed of living. Now we're just some massive dumpster fire. I haven't slept in 24 hours because I'm so stressed over life, and then I have to go back to work, and I make really good money. Yeah, I still can't afford to fucking live. When I was 14, I made $8 an hour. $8 fucking dollars an hour. Now, even at $20 an hour, or even 21 or 22 or 25 or 30, people can't afford to fucking live. I don't know, it's Justin Trudeau's fault. Yeah, it is partially his fault for printing more money than there was demand for product, but at the same time,
Let's talk about how surviving on unemployment in Toronto right now is literally impossible. New York City just raised their unemployment checks. Meanwhile, Toronto is stuck years behind. If you're unemployed in New York City, you can now receive $869 weekly until you get back on your feet. Meanwhile, in Ontario, the max you can receive is 695 Canadian per week. According to the Toronto Real Estate Board, a one-bedroom condo in downtown Toronto is $24.50 per month. We know the cost of groceries are about $500 a month per person. Then you also have to take into account things like your phone bill for $90 a month. Even with your full EI payment, there's no way that you can survive in Toronto on this price unless you have a significant amount of savings, which most people don't. The job market is a significant struggle. Roles are flooded with a significant amount of applicants, and even entry-level jobs are demanding 5 years of experience. Layoffs are happening around the clock. People want to work, but there's not enough stable, livable jobs to make that happen. So people are forced to move back home with their parents, take on multiple side gigs, or go into debt just to survive in the city. New York City has recognized that inflation and housing costs demand higher support. Meanwhile, in Toronto, one of the most expensive cities in North America, they're still pretending that 2018 living costs apply in 2025, which we know that they don't. All of this is creating a generation that's anxious, burnt out, and afraid of any job loss because there's literally no safety net at all. It's an employer's market, and that's it. We keep being told to save for a rainy day, but how do you save when it's raining literally every day? At the end of the day, this isn't about unemployment. This is about the cost of existing, literally being alive. That's it. So if New York City can adjust to reality, why can't Toronto? Let me know in the comments what you think.
I see everyone doing this trend, so I've decided I'm gonna hop onto it too. Here's how much it costs me to live in Canada each month. Let's start with this roof over my head. That cost me $2,550 every single month. Utilities is about $245 each month, and that includes, utilities for the place, as well as my phone bill and my internet bill. Grocery will get me anywhere from about $500 to $550 every single month. Now, thank heavens, I do not have a car payment, but I do have my car insurance, and that's about $400 every month. Gas is about $160 to $180 each month, depending on how much driving I'm doing. Now, lunch, for the most part, I do take food from home, but when I do spend on lunch, it's about $100 each month. Gym and Pilates, I spend anywhere from $200 to $250 each month. And then you have miscellaneous things, So I would say that brings my total to just about 4,000 Canadian dollars every single month. What do you guys think? How much do you spend in your city or your country? And as usual, I hope my transparency helps someone.
I literally went to the grocery store today again, and I already went on Thursday. It is now Sunday. On Thursday I spent over $500, and today I spent over $200 just to get some basic things that we needed from the grocery store, like produce and snacks for lunches. And when I tell you that living in Canada is literally insane, why am I spending almost $700 in 1 week for my basic living needs? Hi, my name is Lindsay and I live in Ontario, Canada. I'm a mom of 2 kids and I'm a full-time educator, and I started a side hustle 9 months ago to help with the price of inflation, so I did not have to work another second part-time job on top of my full-time job because I was never seeing my kids because I worked 80 plus hours a week. I started the side hustle in hopes to make an extra $500, $1,000, and literally surpassed that within my first month and made over $24,000. I know what a lot of people think when they hear things like this, but you do not need to know what you're doing. It is so beginner friendly. You don't need any tech experience. You don't need any degree to do this, okay? If you have a phone and you have Wi-Fi and you have 2 to 3 hours a day that you're spending aimlessly scrolling, watching videos on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook, you can apply that time and learn some high income skills to literally make money like this. I always thought you needed to have an aesthetically pleasing life to be a content creator or influencer, have a big following to be successful at things like this. But literally that was not the case. That was just things I was telling myself to basically take myself out and think that I couldn't do this. But at the end of the day, you don't have to have a huge following. You don't have to have an aesthetically pleasing life. I literally am a hot mess mom, just trying to survive with my 2 children and make a basic living. And I started this side hustle, and now I have been able to make over $180,000 in 9 months. So if you're someone who's telling yourself that you can't do something like this because of all the things I just mentioned, get that out of your head and start that side hustle, because you could be missing on a huge opportunity to make a lot of money. If you're interested in anything that I just said, all you need to do is follow me and comment learn in the comments, and I can send you all the information that I had to get started.
I'm so mad. It's like I just came to this country to work and pay bills. 2 months ago, I switched from electricity to solar. 2 months ago. This solar company had come to sell this idea to me to be charging me $170 every month. The idea was so beautiful because I've been having some outrageous bill from my electricity company, MS. MS, I'm calling you guys out for this outrageous electricity bill you give to your customers. I switched to solar. That's not where it ended. MS was still sending me bills. Last 2 months, they sent me 400 and something. Last month, 400 and something. This month, again, 300 and something. I'm like, come on. 300 and something for what? Am I not using solar? How can I be using solar energy and be paying electricity energy? Does it even make sense? Like, seriously? Body is Hundara. Like, I'm working and I'm paying bills. What kind of nonsense is this? I'm working and you are just taking my money like I'm a criminal. Do I look like I do fraudulent business? I do legit business. How much do they pay me every month that I'll be paying almost 400 and something, 600 and something on electricity bill alone? Like, seriously? I called them this morning. I said, cut me off from electricity bill. Don't even think of adding me again. If I see anything that looks like you people's bill again in my email, I will sue it's not EN Max. That's the company. People should stop playing with me. Which kind of nonsense is this? Just work and pay bills. Like, seriously? Go thunder. We no get for papa, mama, fire this electricity company.
Rent in Canada is absolutely out of control. The only pro is for the people who have been living in the same place for 10, 15 years, because legally they can't see a dramatic increase to what market rent is. So let me actually change what I said. Market rent in Canada is insane.
What they have in common, they can't afford rent. For a growing number of people, highway rest areas have become much more than a temporary stop.
It's not what you'd expect at a provincial rest area. Though overnight camping is banned, there's a makeshift shelter. People living in cars.
Listen, people gotta do what people gotta do.
RVs and trailers not passing through, but
if you're at one of these stops and you're sleeping there overnight, maybe you shouldn't. As long as you're not causing a problem and you're just literally trying to sleep, you gotta do what you gotta do. That's my opinion.
Everything is so expensive in Canada. If you look at the average mortgage amount in Canada, I mean, it's extremely high. It's $624,000. For every dollar that you earn, you're actually spending $1.72. That's the highest globally.
When we talk about breaking points, we're not talking about headlines. We're talking about people. People like the single mom skipping meals so her kids can eat, the senior choosing between rent and medication, the young man working 70 hours a week, still living in his parents' basement. This is the human cost of a broken system, one that rewards greed and punishes survival. Canadians are tired of being told to tighten their belts while corporations post record profits. We're tired of being told it could be worse when we're living paycheck to paycheck in one of the richest countries in the world. Canada's breaking point isn't just economic. It's emotional. It's mental. It's spiritual. Because when hope starts fading, when good, hardworking people feel like no matter what they do, it'll never be enough, that's when something inside a nation begins to die. But here's the truth no one talks about. We're not powerless. Every time we speak up, every time we share our story, every time we refuse to stay silent, we take back a little piece of what's been stolen from us. This channel exists for that reason. We're here to say what millions are thinking but afraid to admit, that Canada can't keep going like this. We deserve better. We deserve leaders who listen. We deserve a system that values people, not profits. So if you're watching this and nodding your head, if you've ever felt alone in this struggle, you're not. You're part of something bigger. A community that refuses to stay quiet. Because this isn't the end of Canada's story. It's the beginning of a wake-up call. Thank you for watching. If this message hit you hard, share it. Let others know they're not alone either. Subscribe, stay loud, and keep pushing back. Because silence built this crisis. And our voices will be what ends it.